Assalamu alaikum, alhamdulillah, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa almahdy wa Mehdi-AlayisAlsalam. Today was the first day that I actually spoke to a messianic Jew that I was aware of, and I was walking back from the store, and they had wanted to know if I was from the Arab lands. And we got into different discussions on a little walk we were having, and she had her dog with her. And some of the things she was bringing up was like what we had recently been learning about from Hasan. Like she was mentioning some of how Jesus, peace be upon him, was risen. And she was mentioning about the brain, like how shaitan and how our ego. And anyway, she wanted to know like how I came to know about my religion. And it was interesting because I don't share this often, but I like to share it. Pretty much for me, I had grown up with a lot of evil around me. It was pretty much do what I say or you're going to get a spanking as a kid. And so we got pretty much bruised quite often as children growing up. And I learned to not even cry anymore. Like I would learn to block things out. Anyways, as a kid I started to get like a spiritual awareness. Like I would have dreams, and I learned somewhat about the Bible. And I would say, God, if there's a purpose, show me, and I'll help you. Anyhow, different things happened growing up, and I started realizing at a pretty young age with one of my new friends that the boys were starting to chase us, like at the age of 10. And me and my friend, we would help each other. Anyway, it got more like annoying or more often like after the age of 10, and sometimes I'd get a note, or the men would do different things that weren't appropriate. And even my teacher, my 9th grade teacher, was saying some things that were inappropriate. So I kind of realized I had this new option. I had somewhat of a different power than I did as a child. And it was easy for me to get a job. And if I didn't like my job, I knew I could just go somewhere else and get a job. And some bad things kind of happened as far as one of my friends. He had killed himself when I was 16. And people were saying it was my fault if I would have married him, if I would have been his girlfriend. And before this, another boy, he had took a bat to his car, and he was complaining and saying he was going to, commit suicide. He had like a really nice sports car, and he took a bat and he like broke the windows out, bashed the sides of the car in. And there was like competition. Sometimes like if one man liked me and another man noticed that he liked me, they would fight. They would do things. So, but when the suicide one happened, I took it really personally because they were saying, basically it was my fault that he cared about me, loved me. If I would have been his wife or his girlfriend, he wouldn't have done that. So I was feeling hurt and confused very much. And soon after, I met a guy named Muhammad. And he was like not exactly following Islam at this time. He had like a sports car, and he was trying to work out and show himself and kind of do some of the American ways, like play pool, play music sometimes. But anyhow, I learned about Islam from him. And the main reason why I liked him and what he believed in is he had been through really a traumatic situation. He came from actually a rich family. And then the Khmer Rouge, like there's this war that happened over in like Malaysia and Cambodia. and this Khmer Rouge war started, and they captured like his family and killed his father, and they kept him working in the rice fields for like, 6 years at least. And he had like scars to show me how they would torture him if he got caught stealing food and stuff. But anyways, even all this evil had happened to him, he wasn't complaining. He still had like this spirit about him where he was humble and happy. And I was like, if this man can handle that evil that happened to him, I should be able to not complain about what I went through. Anyways, at first actually I thought he was like from a new sect of Christianity I hadn't heard of, because he said he believed in Jesus. But anyways, that's all I'm going to share for right now. Other than this is what also helped me to understand it was partially my fault why the men were, following me around and stuff, because I didn't wear hijab. And it made sense to me when I learned about Islam to wear hijab. Because as a woman, we do have, obviously, something God has given us to where men might appreciate it when we're growing up, or they might like it. And by covering this, it's simple. It doesn't cause this strange, deep desire in men, like when you're not covering your figure. I mean, it's a simple answer to one of the main problems that we have in many ways. Not the only answer, but it's a big part of controlling a lot of the evil that we hear about, rapes and stuff. It's not going to stop it all, but a lot of it. Anyhow, I'll share more soon, inshallah, here and there, about different things in my life. But keep praying, and if you haven't looked too much into religion, now is the time. There are so many specific details about the Torah, the Bible, Quran, and the deep knowledge that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had, and the different meanings on so many things. And this particular person, the Mehdi, has come, and he is to bring justice after much tyranny and injustice. How? You must learn. And if you haven't yet started following him, you'll be able to see from your religious book, whether it's the Torah, the Bible, or Quran, many details as to why you need to follow him and obey him. And take care. Inshallah. Fi amani Allah. Bismillah.